According to social psychologist Kurt Lewin, change is a function of the forces that promote change and the opposing forces that slow or resist change. Let's take a look at managing resistance to change. Change forces lead to differences in form, quality, or condition of an organization over time. In contrast to change forces, resistance forces support the status quo, that is, the existing conditions in an organization. Change is difficult under any circumstances. Resistance to change is caused by self-interest, misunderstanding and distrust, and general intolerance for change. People resist change out of self-interest because they fear that change will cost or deprive them of something they value. Resistance might stem from a fear that the changes will result in a loss of pay, power, responsibility, or even perhaps one's job. People also resist change because of misunderstanding and distrust. They don't understand the change or the reasons for it, or they distrust the people, typically management, behind the change. Resistance isn't always visible at first. In fact, some of the strongest resistors may initially support the changes in public, nodding and smiling their agreement, but then ignore the changes in private or do their jobs as if they always have. Resistance may also come from a generally low tolerance for change. Some people are simply less capable of handling change than others. People with a low tolerance for change feel threatened by uncertainty associated with change and worry that they won't be able to learn from new skills or behaviors needed to successfully navigate change in their organizations. Because resistance to change is inevitable, successful change efforts require careful management. According to psychologist Kurt Lewin, managing organizational change is a basic process of unfreezing, change intervention, and refreezing. Unfreezing is getting people affected by change to believe that the change is needed. During the change intervention itself, workers and managers change their behavior to work practices. Refreezing is supporting and reinforcing the new changes so they stick. Resistance to change is an example of frozen behavior. Given the choice between changing and not changing, most people would rather not change. Because resistance to change is natural and inevitable, managers need to unfreeze resistance to change to create successful change programs. The following methods can be used to manage resistance to change: education and communication, participation, negotiation, top management support, and coercion. When resistance to change is based on insufficient, incorrect, or misleading information, managers should educate employees about the need for change and communicate change-related information to them. Managers must also supply the information, funding, and other support employees need to make changes. Another way to reduce resistance to change is to have those affected by the change participate in planning and implementing the change process. Employees who participate have a better understanding of the change and the need for it. Furthermore, employee concerns about change can be addressed as they occur if employees participate in the planning and implementation process. Finally, resistance to change can be managed through coercion or the use of formal power and authority to force others to change. Because of the intense negative reactions it can create, coercion should be used only when a crisis exists or when other attempts to reduce resistance to change have failed.